We just want you to update the nation as to how far the process is, when we can expect the results, and some questions will be coming in as
usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, thanks a lot, Eddie. I must confirm one thing up front, and that is the fact that as we sit here, all our returning officers in all the 121 constituencies have announced their results officially and formally in all our constituencies for both the presidential elections and the National Assembly elections. We have informed the Namibian nation that there is a process by which we manage the results. An important aspect of this process is that once the returning officer announces their result for both sets of elections at the collation center level, they must transmit their results to the election results center here. Importantly, we have deployed a results management system which is comprised of two modules. Sorry about that. One module sits at the collation center. One sits here. The importance of this module is to be able to enter the results data from each and every polling station within every constituency. Enter the results data. Once you do that, there is an input process. We have data capturers and data verifiers, and then it is transmitted electronically to our systems here. That is why we have the ability to be able to project what you colleagues are seeing here. That is why we have the ability to be able to publish information on a mobile app, on our websites and other platforms. If we did not have that aspect of inputting polling stations data, we would not be able to have an effective collation of our election results. But importantly, the reason why we need to have polling station results here is for us to be able to look at the collated result announced by the returning officer and do our own verifications here by adding up the collation, the polling station results to make sure that they indeed tally to the result that would have been announced by the returning officer. So we have a different verification process here. Now in this process, there is also a back and forth here and there if we see that something was not added up correctly. So I must mention here that we have a results processing center in the east wing of this hall. We have made available computer terminals for representatives of all the contesting parties, including the independent candidate. They have a view on the system. They are able to see the actual scanned copy, original, from which the returning officers have made the announcements. That is why I have emphasized at so many occasions that the Electoral Commission here can never announce a result that would be different from what would have been announced by every returning officer. So our parties here with us can see where their party agents also signed in all the collation centers. It's part of the verification process. I must mention here that it's a laborious, painstaking process, but I think the Electoral Commission need to be afforded the space and time to work meticulously, to work very carefully. We rather want to exercise an abundance of caution than regret. We are not going to be allowed to be pushed into announcing election results that would have defects that we would not be able to explain. So it's a laborious process. We are on top of this game. As we've indicated here that within 48 hours after the close of polls, counting from 9 p.m. on Wednesday, we will be announcing the final results in relation to these particular elections. And we stand by that. Today, at some point, we will give the final announcements of the results. So I think that is where we are. I must mention also that we did have, regions where you have large voting populations. Musati, Hangwena, somehow Kunene, even though it's not one of the biggest, but also Komas. Even though our returning officers have announced their results, there have been issues in relation to the inputting of the polling station data onto the system. We have teams on the ground that are providing technical support. We are also supporting the collation centers remotely from here through telephonic inquiries and stuff like that. So we are dealing with some of these big regions, and I think by lunch today, I should be able to tell the nation at what time the final announcements will be done. That's the process, and that is what we are planning to do.
Okay, so far the process has gone as you had anticipated it, or some hiccups?
Yes, okay. I must say that every time we have to talk about hiccups or challenges in the process, it really has to be seen in relation to the scope and the magnitude of the project. If you have a project where you are supervising 16,600 people that you trained for only 10 days, people that you don't know, and I don't want to make excuses about this, surely somebody somewhere will forget to do something. Somebody somewhere would misinterpret or misunderstand a directive or an instruction. It is bound to happen. These things happen. But we are saying that we have not noted an incident or a situation that would compromise the integrity of the process or compromise the credibility of the results generated from this polling process. And I think for us that is key. We will never say that we have been 100% perfect. Never. It's not possible. I'm not aware of any country that have run a perfect election. It doesn't work. It doesn't exist. But I think the electoral management body should do whatever it has to do to make sure that at the end of the day, despite the shortcomings here and there, that the final election results are at least credible and acceptable to the nation. And that is the direction we have taken.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, one thing that I've picked up is at the Central Verification Center.
Here.
Here.
Central.
Yeah. Although the media has received passes to, like as you indicated, that the political parties will go with you go through the process together as key stakeholders, the media as well. But it now appears that somewhere, somehow, the media is restricted from a certain part of the electoral process. Can it be explained?
No, I don't think there have been or there are any restrictions. I think we have been clear from day one, and it has been our understanding, unless somebody somewhere said something wrong, our understanding clearly was that we will accredit 2 persons per political party or independent candidate representatives to be part, to have access to computer terminals in the results processing center, so that they are able to view the process that the ECN is running in verifying and publishing results. At no point did we make a commitment that the media would also be accredited to access that area. In fact, where we are seated right here, this is what we call the media center, the media space, essentially. But I think it is clear now, with the experience of yesterday, that there have been challenges in terms of accessing our mobile app, but also accessing results, published results on our websites. What we have noted is that because of large interest from people sitting wherever they are in the world, of course, especially in Namibia, people were accessing the database at the same time. So the traffic was quite high as a result. I think it was jamming and compromising the capacity of the pipe. I'm not a technical guy, but what I was made to understand is that it's because of the hits on the database that were too much at a given point in time, and the system could not handle all that volume at the same time. What we have done in the day is that we have tried to upgrade the capacity, to widen the pipe, as they call it, so that as people are trying to access the results on our platforms, they could do so with relative ease. So I don't think there was any misunderstanding. Parties were never meant to access that space. I mean, sorry, the media. Okay. The media. That is why you have this center. This is the media center. So I hope we will have a much better experience in terms of accessing the platforms and the app and so forth, and that the media colleagues can then publish or announce these results as they see them from the display boards and also from the platforms.
Okay, Mr. Mwero, we'll leave you now and engage you again.
Thanks a lot. Anytime, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks a lot.
All the best.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.
Okay.